Hello, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into some dramatic events that unfolded right here in South Africa, events that have left many people talking. A suspected hijacker was gunned down after a fiery shootout following a high-speed chase with security operatives. Now, this is not just another crime update, this is one of those intense moments that show just how dangerous and unpredictable hijacking has become in our country. Please make sure you watch till the end, because I'll also share the sources where this news came from, so you can see and verify for yourself. And before we get into the full details, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. It helps us bring you more updates that matter to ordinary South Africans. Now, let's talk about what happened. According to reports, it all started when a group of armed suspects attempted a hijacking that went wrong. Security operatives picked up on the attempted crime and quickly intervened. What followed was a high-speed chase that could have been pulled straight out of a movie scene. Imagine the sound of tires screeching, sirens blaring, and a getaway car weaving recklessly through the streets, trying everything possible to escape capture. But these operatives were determined, and they gave chase with everything they had. As the suspects sped off, witnesses described the scene as terrifying and chaotic. Some pedestrians ducked for cover, vehicles had to swerve to avoid collisions, and the tension was thick in the air. For many of us, hijacking is no longer just something you read about in the papers. It's become a daily fear, something you think about when pulling up at a traffic light at night or when you see a car suspiciously following behind you. And in this case, that fear played out live on the streets. The chase came to a deadly conclusion when the suspects opened fire on the security operatives. At that moment, it wasn't just about catching criminals anymore, it became a fight for survival. Shots were fired back and forth, echoing through the area, leaving residents shaken and afraid to even step outside. In the chaos, one of the suspected hijackers was gunned down in the exchange. Others reportedly fled the scene, disappearing before law enforcement could secure them. Now, while some may look at this and think, well, at least one criminal is off the streets, others raise important questions about the bigger picture. Hijackings are not slowing down. In fact, in many areas across Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, and the Western Cape, they are on the rise. Vehicles are being targeted not only for personal use but also to fuel the black market trade, chop shops, and even international smuggling operations. These are not small-time criminals, often they are part of organized networks that move quickly, strike boldly, and don't think twice about using violence. For the families living in fear, this reality cuts deep. People work hard for their cars, sometimes paying off loans for years, only to live with the constant fear that at any moment, someone can point a gun at you and take it all away. It's heartbreaking. And in many communities, residents are asking whether security operatives and the police have enough resources and support to really keep up with these criminals. The bravery of the operatives in this case must be acknowledged. Chasing armed men through the streets is not something anyone does lightly. They put their lives at risk to try and stop a crime in progress. But this also sparks debates around the growing reliance on private security in South Africa. Some say our police service should be leading from the front in handling such high-risk incidents, while others argue that without private security firms, crime would be even worse. The truth probably lies somewhere in between, and it's a tough conversation we need to keep having. Now, let's not forget the human side of this shootout. For the people who witnessed it up close, especially those who heard bullets flying and saw the chase unfold, this was trauma in real time. Parents grabbing their children to shield them, businesses quickly locking doors, and motorists panicking on the road. These are scars that don't heal quickly. South Africans are tough, we know that, but constant exposure to violence takes its toll. And as a country, we need to keep asking ourselves what more can be done to tackle hijacking before it reaches a point where no one feels safe on the roads anymore. Some community leaders are saying this incident shows just how deeply rooted crime has become. It's not just about poverty or unemployment, although those issues are real. It's also about organized criminal syndicates who see hijacking as easy money. As long as there is demand for stolen cars and parts, these hijackings will continue. And while shootouts like this one might temporarily take a suspect off the street, the cycle keeps repeating. What's also interesting is how quickly these incidents spread across social media. Videos, photos, and voice notes are shared within minutes, sometimes even before official reports come out. On one hand, it keeps the public informed, but on the other hand, it can also fuel fear and panic. In this case, the images shared painted a vivid picture of how intense the chase was, and how deadly the shootout became. But we must remember, while these pictures and clips may circulate, they don't always tell the full story. That's why it's important to rely on verified sources to understand what truly happened. At the end of the day, one suspected hijacker is dead, security operatives went home alive but shaken, and a community is left with yet another reminder of how unsafe our roads can be. And while many will say justice was served, others will worry about the suspects who escaped. Are they still out there planning their next move? Will another innocent motorist be their next victim? These are the questions South Africans are forced to live with daily. Before we close, I just want to remind you again to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss updates like this. And on a lighter note, with the way criminals are driving these days during chases, I sometimes think they'd do better on a Formula One track than on our streets. But then again, with our potholes, they wouldn't last one lap. A little humor, but behind it, the reality is very serious. All images used in this video are for illustration purposes only. Sources: IOL, Times Live, News 24. Now I'd like to hear from you. Do you think security operatives are doing enough to fight hijackings, or should the police be more visible and hands-on in tackling this problem?